Welcome back to Making Waves. Thanks for being here today. Well, any seasoned cruiser will tell you that the ocean can be unpredictable and you may experience rough seas on a cruise. So, whether you are a new cruiser or a salty sea dog, today let's talk about the essential list of things to pack in the event you experience rough seas on your cruise. Stay tuned, let's talk about it. Before we get started with the packing list for rough seas, I wanted to just take a minute and say thank you so much for watching. We just hit 100 subscribers, and I know by most YouTube channels that's not a lot, but it means so very much to us. We know that you have options, right? There's a lot of cruise content creators out there. So it just means the world to us that you take time out of your day to watch our videos. So from the bottom of my heart, thank you so much. All right, let's talk about things you should pack in the event of rough seas. And some areas are more known for rough seas than others. But even in the Caribbean, we personally have experienced a couple of occasions of rough seas, so it's good to be prepared just in case. So the first item that I recommend that you bring, and this is probably common sense, but worth mentioning, is a pair of closed-toed shoes. We always bring a pair of sneakers with us, even if we are, like I said, going to a warm weather location. Just in the event you do have to be outside in the rain on an excursion, or if you have to walk outside on a deck to get to a specific location, it's just good to have that. Also, check your excursions because many of them do require closed-toed shoes as well. The next item that I always recommend bringing is some sort of rain jacket. You've probably heard me talk about the one that I bring previously, but worth mentioning again. As you can see, it's very small and packable, very lightweight. I have had to use this before. I know back in our 2019 cruise in San Juan, it was raining for the first little bit of our excursion, and I was very happy to have this. Now, this is very lightweight. I wouldn't recommend this for an Alaska cruise, but for any warm weather cruises, this is the perfect packable rain jacket. It is water repellent, and I can attest to the fact that it did keep me dry the one time that it did rain. Now, let's turn our attention to seasickness prevention. And again, I know this next item you've heard me talk about, but I couldn't not include it in this video, and that is these motion sickness patches. So these are just little round patches. You put one behind each ear, and it helps with seasickness. Now, in the past, I've never experienced seasickness. I've been on cruises in the past and even smaller boats through rough seas and never had an issue. I was very surprised on our 2019 cruise that I did experience some seasickness, and I had brought those patches with me and put them on, and they did help a lot. But what I highly recommend, and what I did on our last cruise, is to put one behind each ear the night before your cruise, or at least the morning of your cruise, so that medicine kind of has some time to work into your system. So I did that, and we did have some rough seas just the first night, and those helped me tremendously. You do change them out every 48 hours, but I had them on for the duration of our cruise, and they have really served me well. Now, thankfully, I haven't had to use this next item before, but I do always pack it, and that is some Bonine. I'm not sure the correct pronunciation for it, but this is some seasickness medication, much like Dramamine. Now, I think they do make a kind of non-drowsy, or this one says less drowsy version, but my understanding is these do make you a little bit sleepy, but still good to have in the case of seasickness where maybe you need something more than the patches, especially to be able to sleep at night. Again, takes up no space. Always recommend packing this. Now, this next item I don't have and I haven't used before, but they're called sea bands, and there's lots of different brands and varieties of them. I'll link some down below in the description box, but they are bands that you put around your wrists, and there's a little button that kind of places just very light pressure on your pressure points, and that is supposed to help with stability, and equilibrium. So I might pick some of those up to try. They're very inexpensive. If you have tried sea bands and have had success with them, definitely let us know in the comments. That's super helpful. Now, this next item I have brought on cruises before, all the way back to my very first cruise. I'm about to give my age away. That was on the Celebrity Century. So that was many moons ago. And that is ginger chews or ginger hard candy. So I did try these on that first cruise on Celebrity Century back a couple of decades ago. And I wasn't terribly seasick at that point, even though we did have really a 24-hour period of really rough seas. Lots of people were quite ill. I don't know if they helped or not. I think they did a little bit. I think they helped settle my stomach, is what really I think the benefit is with these. Now, I also just love ginger. And if there's ginger candy around, I'm going to eat it because I just enjoy it that much. So perhaps I enjoy them for the taste more than the benefit. But uh, this is something a lot of people have said really works for them. And so that may be something you want to try. Again, I'll link the ones I've personally tried down below. If you have others that you've had great success with, definitely let us know in the comments. One other seasickness remedy or something that can kind of help with that I have read about, I have not tried this personally, but it's something you can typically find in the buffet on cruise ships, and that is green apples. Specifically green, not red, I've heard can really help with those symptoms of seasickness. Again, I haven't personally tried this to know if it really is a good solution, so if you have, please let us know. Lastly, I do typically bring a small umbrella, not for seasickness, of course, but to stay dry. Even with my packable rain jacket, I will bring a very compact umbrella. Now, many cruise lines I know do have umbrellas that you can use if they have in your cabin, so you may want to research that first so you're not taking up valuable suitcase space with an umbrella. But I typically bring one, even with the packable rain jacket, just because, y'all, my hair in its natural form really needs its own zip code. I always joke that I beat it into submission every morning, and if it gets wet, it expands exponentially. So that is something I bring, and it's worth it to me to do so. All right, that is it. That is my list of essential packing items or just things to kind of know about in the case of rough seas. I'd love to know what other remedies you have tried, what other preparations you make in the event of rain. So sound off in the comments below. Again, thank you so very much for watching. And until next time, smooth sailing and happy cruising.